It's really impressive to me that you managed to use art as a way to sustain a lifestyle, pay your bills. Can you walk me through your journey with monetizing your gift that you have, your talent of being an artist?
It's still working to make it stable.
What are some of the main features of the impressionist style of art?
When I went to art school, it was way harder because they were teaching all the techniques, academic stuff, but then they realized you need so much work to get better.
Where was this art school? Was that also in Ukraine?
So he offered to commission me to paint his building, and I was like, okay. And we put it on Facebook, a neighborhood group, and a lot more people were interested.
That's so cool. It's almost as if you unlock a hidden market that didn't even exist for most people.
Art is always continuous learning, even the artists already been doing it for many, many years.
Do you think there is a future in which artists should worry about their jobs being taken away by AI? Is there a part of you that wishes that you didn't have to do all of the social media stuff and you could just paint and automatically make your revenue?
Welcome to the Ready Set Do podcast, where we learn from journeys of not experts who are just 2 steps ahead of us. I'm Naman Pandey, and in this episode, featured not expert is Zhanna Biletska. Zhanna is a Chicago-based artist whose work has been featured on many prominent art galleries and conferences. Before we proceed any further, I just want to put forward this time lapse that just got made as a consequence of my recording the episode. I didn't realize it at the time, but check this out. Thanks for humoring me there. Now jumping back, the topic for today's discussion is how to sustain a comfortable livelihood through the pursuit of art. If you're like me, or really most people, you've definitely marveled at some of the exquisite beauty that artists and painters can produce. But at the same time, given 21st century and such, you have probably scratched your head and been like, where is the money at? The old meme goes, born to make art, forced to produce content. We discussed Zhanna's experience at art school, growing up in Ukraine, why she's drawn to the impressionist style and what that even means, how art galleries work and how to get your work there, how to build an online presence as an artist, and my personal favorite section, how she's carved out a hidden niche for herself which didn't even exist by painting people's houses, and finally end with her thoughts on AI art. In keeping with our theme of learning from somebody that's just 2 steps ahead of us instead of an expert, my goal is to showcase Zhanna's incredible art and also shine a light on how aspiring artists like Zhanna can follow Zhanna's playbook and kickstart their journeys. This is the Ready Set Do podcast, and to support it, subscribe on YouTube and leave me up to a 5-star rating on Spotify or any podcast app of your choice. There are also links in the description to support me more directly. And now, without any further ado, here's Zhanna.
Zhanna, welcome. So excited to talk to you about all your amazing art that you have. I was looking at it yesterday when you shared your page with me. And to be honest, it's just hard for me to even comprehend that a person with their 2 hands can make art which is as beautiful as that. So I guess my first question is, when did you first realize that this is something that you were drawn to and that this is something that you wanted to do with life?
Well, I've been drawn to creating art like from an very early age, and by the age of 9, I started attending art school, where we learned like different disciplines like still life painting, composition, drawing, the art history, sculpture. Uh, so from all of that, um, I well, I studied that. My love for like drawing, painting, all of that was growing more, and yeah, when I was and studying there are age 16 or something, I I thought that I want something like make a career to be connected to the art.
Got it. And where was this? So you said when you were 9, you had started your at least like formal education in all of this.
Mhm.
So was this in the US, or I know you're from Ukraine. So was this back home in Ukraine? Where was this happening?
Yeah, I started in Ukraine.
Okay, got it. And is it normal for kids in Ukraine to have, because what you mentioned is there were a bunch of subjects. So you mentioned sculptures, you mentioned art, history, all of that sounds like a lot. So is it common for kids in Ukraine, at least that young, to have that specific education about the, just the arts in general? Or was it, or were you like an exception when it came to that?
Well, this was an art school, so
Okay.
okay, we are like is going after a regular school.
Oh, so this is additional to your livelihood school. I sounds got it.
Yeah, so at first, before that, I went to dance art school, but I didn't like that. I had paying always my drive, so uh, my parents told me when I told them that I didn't want to do that anymore, that I should do something. So I felt I want to draw, I want to paint, and then so I went to art school, like visual art school.
Did you immediately start enjoying as soon as you started? Were you already like, oh yeah, this is so great, this is so much better than dancing? Or did it take you a couple years to start enjoying that?
Well, I was I started copying some stuff. Like when I was at regular school, and then when I was pretty type. Sometimes it was just copying like some like pictures. It was before I started going to like actual art school. But then when I went to art school, like it was way harder than I was thinking it would be because they were teaching all the techniques, academic stuff, but then you realize you're not good and you need so much work to get better. But you still like it, it's just harder when you're learning.
Interesting. And where was this art school that you mentioned? Was that also in Ukraine or had you moved here by then?
It was so unique, right?
Okay, got it. So talk to me as somebody that me personally, I have no idea what goes on in art school. Like, so, we obviously just met, but my background is from technology. I write computer code, all of that boring stuff, not anywhere as, cool as what you do. But that's why I'm not at all, familiar with the stuff that goes on there. So you mentioned two things. It's first academics, so like they teach you stuff like you read books about art and such, and you also mentioned that they teach you techniques around specifically art stuff. So what is that like? So is that just a teacher that is like draw a brush stroke like this, and students are copy that? Like, can you just paint a picture for a word picture for me just to understand what that experience was like?
Well, in the banks like class, so you have like drawing the class, for example, and they start maybe from like drawing a cube where they teach you like first you need to make symmetry, like you need to make right proportions. Then once you draw the actual cube, then you yeah, and it's all right. Like it's not like falling or like it has just right proportions and everything. Then you put shades, like its own shade shadow.
When do the colors come in?
If it's draw it to class, right? There's no color.
Okay.
When you do like still, for example, still life color class, like painting class, so that there's still life where it could be like whatever they put there, it's always different. We keep more interesting. So maybe it's like a car, an apple, and then you also first need to do like the right drawing, and then only after the right drawing done, it's like many classes you can just once because like you're studying, so like it takes mistakes, you like snapped over, and like takes many hours, and then whenever you got with drawing, then you come and start actually like paint. We were
Okay.
uh most of the time we were doing watercolors, so yeah. Well, they also teach you like in watercolors techniques and stuff. Then I was also like that course that we try gouache as well, oils and acrylics. We also tried there as well. So yeah, in all the mediums they were showing like how to do, what to start from, and of course you have to learn like color theory. That's like
Ah,
in waterline and might be called shadows and etc. Like uh, color spectrums, how they like influence each other. So yeah, like a lot of stuff to learn just from this two classes, and there's also others.
so the way it works is it's always drawing first. There's no probably no art school in the world that would teach coloring first and then drawing. Is that right? Or can there be an exception with that?
No, you have to first draw.
Learn about it. Interesting. I didn't know that. See, that is news to me. But that makes sense in that, yeah, if you don't have like your boundaries and such defined, like what are you painting? Like you can't just randomly paint it up. And okay. And then from all the various type of color paintings that you mentioned, so you mentioned watercolors, you mentioned acrylic, you mentioned oil. How different are the techniques associated with each of these like mediums of color? Are they mostly the same, or is there specific training that you need to get for each of these various mediums?
Well, most acrylics and gouache, they are more similar, and watercolor is very different from these three. But all of them, though they have their different to like colors, so you have to, yeah. Also, we tried pastels too. So these pastels also very different.
Got it. And which is the hardest one?
For a lot of people, I've heard like they think watercolor is the hardest. I mean, it is not easy, but it's also depends on what technique you like. The technique that I like, it's hard because you have to get the reason right away. But if you just use the technique that takes longer, it's easy.
My parents trying to get me into a little bit of, painting as well as a child. I went like for 2 months before I gave it up. One of the things I remembered that I struggled with was, especially around watercolors. So say you have, you're painting blue with your blue color. So I did like a brush stroke of blue. And then because I hadn't mixed the color well enough, even though I tried to paint a stroke beside it, it just looks like a completely different blue because it was more diluted. Like it had more water than the first time I used it. And I just remember just trying to pull my head out because it was so annoying that I'm like, why is this color difference arising? So I'm sure for you that must be a problem that you would have solved like 10 years ago at this point. So how do you solve for that? Do you just dilute it the exact right amount with water and before you dip your brush, you already know that it's the right color, or is there something else that goes into that?
Well, that's what college for. Like you always trying like which color you need on there first.
So you make sure that it's right on your palette before you kind of move on to the paper.
Mhm.
That is obvious, but it did occur to me at the time. So once you graduated art school, what did you do next? What was like next for you in terms of your career? But and then when I say career, I mean the artist career.
Then I had a private tutoring with very good teachers from universities, and then I went to architecture university.
Oh, interesting. Still in Ukraine.
Mhm. Yes.
Got it. So then what brought you here? What were the circumstances that saw you move to the United States?
Well, I just wanted to travel, see the world, and then decided to stay.
Okay, awesome. So when you were here, you already had an architecture degree, I'm assuming.
Mhm. Yes.
Okay. So, okay. And again, because for our listeners, we just met, like 10 minutes ago. So is your artist career the primary sort of, concern in terms of what pays your bills, what puts food on your table? Or is it just like more of a hobby that you do in addition to something else?
This is my primary work on
Okay.
well paintings, and also I do photography on the side.
Okay. But you don't do anything with architecture as of now.
No.
Got it. So that's really interesting to me because so immediately the first question that comes to my mind is like America is obviously a very capitalistic society. Like everything here is driven by like money. You need whatever you do must have money or must generate money in some way or form. So it's really impressive to me that in such a place, you manage to use art as a way to, sustain a lifestyle, pay your bills. So how was that? Was it difficult to get started? And like, can you walk me through your journey with essentially monetizing your gift that you have, your talent of being an artist?
Well, it's still working on to make it stable because it's an unstable like working for yourself, being self-employed, probably in other fields that too that you never know later how much exactly you will make. So it's not stable at all, and I always have like more work, more serious like on his work art, and then less work on his folder. So
In terms of commissions that you select people when they have requests for you to paint something, you're saying it goes down in the winter. So
yes, yes, especially since I paint regular, like paint outdoors, so it's
right.
most of the work is when it's more. So in Israel I could do from photos, but it takes me longer. I have less commissions like that, so it's much less and less photography. Photography also like isn't high season nature. So so yes, it's never stable. So how to start it? It just you have to be crazy because well yeah like be ready to get into a lot of debt if you need to because I would say the most smart thing would be actually like if people have the jobs and starting on a site
Mm.
and not just and dive into it with like kind of I did and yeah uh, try to make something out of there because he guess it so first I was doing more photography
Okay.
and then after COVID, after I came back from army basic training, there were COVID and like there were not much for photography. No, I because I was doing mostly weddings, so
Mm.
uh, no weddings, of course, and
Mm.
not much work and like this. So first I came and I was doing painting like I've done before that, like just to do it, to put it on Etsy. Like it wasn't by any amount, it just was paint sometimes for materials and stuff. But also I was like I took a student I was teaching him to do plenar painting too, because I didn't have much photo shoots. And then one of my clients who already bought a couple of paintings. I guess you didn't know just part of that. And then he also was here in the just park and he found me on Etsy, but my paintings over just park. So he offered to commission me to paint his building, like to paint the painting of his building. And I was like, okay, like I didn't have much work, so I said okay, and then I did that, and we put it like on Facebook, a neighborhood group, and a lot more people were interested, like in doing the same for them. So that's how it started to give the commission to paint himself.
That's so cool. Yeah, it's almost as if you unlocked a hidden market that didn't even exist for most people. But it makes so much sense to me that, say, you're a family, you've been living somewhere for whatever, 10, 15 years. And yeah, we would want to, immortalize that building in the form of a painting. And, yeah, it's just who's going to do that? I don't think there's a lot of people that are talented enough to be able to do that. So that's really cool. How recent is this actually? So when did this first, like, when did you stumble across this, cool, ongoing way of having commissions?
Yeah, so COVID 2020, it's
Okay, so you've been doing for a while.
been over for years.
Got it. And so, and just before that, can you, as you said, you didn't have like a very steady source. You were just on Etsy, trying to see what's there, and like you didn't have any, like strong and ongoing source of commissions at least. Is that right?
Going for paintings, yeah, it's a little bit several sometimes. I was participating in all the art events, art events that they have like every year, and then exhibits, like group exhibits, even did my own solo exhibits even before that. But like it wasn't something that I could make like actually like living still because it's like being an actress is not easy. So
Right. No, yeah. I mean, I can't even imagine. And on average, what's the price to enlist yourself in one of these exhibits? I'm sure they must have a price, right, for artists.
Well, it depends because if it's like a gallery, then they could have a price to put up there. Like enter also they don't take a commission fee. Some just take commission fee. They don't have a price for like actually like a
Oh, so if somebody buys, you have to give them a certain percentage of what you charge the buyer. Is that right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. So like galleries will take like for example 50% like
Oh, wow, that's a lot.
if it's galleries, but places like coffee shops, restaurants, sometimes they would like to do it for free or maybe you know give them a small percentage or something like that.
Ye-
Uh, but galleries or museums or something, yeah, they will also have to accept and that on top of that they take a lot of commission. Sometimes even also like there's price like flat price on top of commissioners.
Oh,
So if you don't sell anything, you like lose it also.
yeah, that doesn't feel very sustainable for, somebody that's just starting out. Maybe if you're an established artist, you have your name out there, people know you, you're, like a mini celebrity. I think then it can make sense to do all that. Maybe, I don't know. But it does appear that, yeah, if you're starting off, it might not be the best idea. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, so it's always even like when you do a place and the top charge you much of commission or flat fee, it's still a lot of preparation. You're buying all the frames, you bring fee,
Oh, I didn't even think about
you bring in painting teams. It's a lot of like and at the free places also you do opening by yourself. So if you set up like food and drinks, you also like do it yourself. You can great place that like a gallery. So but you still have to then spend money on that. So it's always investment of money, time, like work, a lot of work in that. And like, so if it's your solo limit, it's like always it takes a lot of work. That's why like I always try to like invite all the friends, and if somebody can come upset because like it takes so much work, so much money to set all this up.
that. Absolutely. I would also be upset. I would probably, end some friendships why not at it. But um and then so I also saw on your site you had a bunch of really well done paintings of the Chicago skyline and such. So are those also commissioned or do you just enjoy doing that and you just do it because you like it?
So skylines, you just I feel like it's a lot of people like this painting, so they bought them fast. So like I like to gain them.
So you that and then you then have it out for sale in case somebody wants to do all that.
It's
Interesting. And did you were you personally involved with making the whole website? Because I saw it had a really neat feature where you could put things in your cart, you could buy, like on the spot. All of that looked like fairly advanced in terms of a technology point of view. So did you have help with that or did you do that yourself? How did you make your that part of the hubs pretty much?
well, my website it's just a platform fixed budget like everybody can set up on their own. You don't
What's the platform called?
that big spot.
Fixed but
Yeah, so you don't have to be like a software engineer or something. You just can like you just choosing what uh you would like to look it like. You put like pictures in there. And you can do it by yourself. And then about the shop. Actually, I didn't. You can put in the express shop also set up in there, but like even set up shop in there, you just translating to NC to make NC shop.
okay.
So
Okay, that smells.
yeah,
So it integrates directly with Etsy like that, and you don't have to manually do all that, right?
yeah, because I had like NC from like way before like 2018, and so your eyes their prices a lot. It's just still kind of feels a little bit easier because I work in hard representative and then to make it everything is like a lot of work to make it a whole online website. It might be a little better, and then don't have to pay so much fees. But so far it's just because I already had it over there on Etsy. So it's been just going still there.
Makes sense. No, I think that's smart to just have stuff come in instead of doing it from scratch. I'm willing to talk at all about, any measures that you've taken about sales that has helped you or that has improved your sales in terms of maybe building a presence online or maybe cultivating a community around art, or do you think it's mostly just random in terms of how many people buy your things actually?
So for buying, it's kind of more random. Even exhibits that I put so much money in order, it's no guarantee that somebody will buy it. And for online, yeah, sometimes somebody buying, but it's no guarantee too. But of course, the more presence you have online, and the more chances you have with somebody to buy it. And I, always to our working hard to build in those line presence even before it was even being as a full-time job. So I started my Instagram, Facebook, under pages around 2014. And since then, I was working hard on like growing the following and or even putting stuff like before like just 2019, maybe I wasn't putting this much of posts in there, but I still was trying to put posts and I was still trying to build up more followers and then of course after I started doing it like more like full time, I cared even more about that. So where I always also from my Facebook business page, I joined some Facebook groups that have pages, and sometimes I post, and from there people also get and start following my page, so more awareness. So any any stuff that could lead to that, and also because it is sometimes people that when you break their friends, you can get more of artists like that, even maybe using paid advertising that exhibits that are because for other yeah, I tried advertising generally, but it didn't really like I couldn't see really results, but from I guess some advertising exhibit, maybe more people will come, so it could be good.
Yeah, look, that makes sense. Do you enjoy that? Is there a part of you that wishes that you didn't have to do all of this social media stuff and you could just paint and automatically, you would make your revenue, your income, and you won't have to worry about this entire thing?
Yes, I usually uh, could have only by do creative stuff at the rest people I want everything else. But yes, part it's I need to do everything by myself. So
Yeah. Because when you were talking about it, it sounded like, it's like such a chore. It's like doing your dishes. Like you need to do it, of course. There's no way around it, but there's just a part of you that wishes that I just wish I didn't have to do this. So I think it is unfortunate, but I think it's just the world we live in. Like I saw this meme recently. It said, um, born to make art, forced to make content. And it resonated with me. I was like, that's true for so many people. I know that's not true for you because you're still actually making art. So you're an exception in that way, which I think is cool. But like if you pick any, like, like I'm not a YouTuber, but if you pick a YouTuber, at the end of the day, they're not, you cannot make just art and expect to, live a life or have your bills taken care of. You need to do all of this crap, which is like build a following, attract people, do sales, whatever, blah, blah. Engage with the communities, like another big one. Like, yeah, I just really wish we didn't have to do that, but obviously here we are. Um, I also saw on your page at Insware that you're mostly a fan of the impressionist style of painting. So for the uninitiated, for a person that knows nothing about that, what can you tell us? Just a brief, very small walkthrough of what are some of the main features of the impressionist style of art?
So impressionism style, it comes from French impressionist paintings like Monet, Renoir, and it comes from they the world's rats who started eating outdoors, which open later. They didn't.
They were the first to do that. Mhm.
Yes, and the and the style like impressionism, it was to capture. It was like to capture like the feeling, the atmosphere, not just exactly like every detail, but
Mm.
more like the feeling and the atmosphere, like your impressions from the work.
I see. And what's the style called? Which is what you just said. It captures the every detail, and it's like very, non emotional, for lack of a better word, but it's more like detail oriented. What is that style of art called?
Well, there could be because kind of realism, it could be different substyles. So like impressionism, it also kind of realism, but more like in the impressionism way. Like but there could be substyles of realism, like hyperrealism, and it would
Realism, yeah, I agree.
and it would capture every detail like very exact. Like
So, like, Brooke, what drew you to impressionism? Why did you choose that to be your, your main focus, primary focus?
well, it's my inspiration, the impressionism, because it like grows your emotions. It shows the um beauty of colors that like photograph would not show, because for like hyperrealism, it's the same as photograph.
Yeah, exactly.
So and I used to do photography about, so I have my camera for that, for hyperrealism. But in painting, I like for it to be more magical, like it's alive and it's coming onto you at me. You look at it and it gives you some feelings. Like sometimes my clients, they were telling me, "Oh, I look at this at my wall and I have this warm feelings and stuff." Oh, that oh, it's me that gives you these feelings. And then what I wanted. So.
That's so cool. And so, when you're starting off a painting, like, can you walk me through the thought process? So, like, how do you, like, what you just described? I get that. I follow that. What I'm not able to follow is now, how do you do that? Like, how do you paint in a way that it feels warm and alive and with full of emotion? Because, it's colors. Colors are dead things. How can dead things have emotions?
I think because I paint a lot of architecture, it's not in my paintings are come to that. Some are like involving realism, but in I paint nature, I still try though. But when I paint nature, it's more of the version it's easier because you just focus on color, because you need to like just see full color, full radiant color that only the eye could see, that the camera does not see. And it's easier with nature because you don't have to focus so hard and get into the architecture details. But it's still possible to do with the architecture. Just for me, sometimes it's not happens the way I like imagine impressionism would be. But sometimes it is, but still has some impressionism to that too.
Yeah. So, like, say, exactly. So, say, I request you to please pay my bill. You arrive on the day off, except you're just like, I really feel like not capturing each detail here. I feel like making this an impressionist painting. So, what you just described, emotions, colors, full play. So, does that ever happen with you? And do you have to be like, no, I have to be, and, or do you just, give in? So, how will you deal with that?
Well, like I could still make like how I feel, but then because the impressionism doesn't capture many details, it's able more details, and they will tell me that I get more of that. Uh,
I see. And do you have them do feedbacks? Like, do you show them how it's coming? And then, like, the person sees that, okay, this is great. or they can be like, okay, this is great, but can you also do something else?
I usually show them when it's finished.
Okay.
And they sometimes they say to add something more, and a lot of times they are not. They just that it is how it looks like already. Um, yes, actually, this the buildings that they have like a lot of greenery, a lot of flowers, it helps that is making it more impressionist. It's best, but also it would be like yeah, in COVID it could be just live how you capture the light, just the it does not always because it takes me much longer. Like in Blender, you should be capturing line just very fast.
Mhm.
And visibility gets harder because while I'm staying there all days, like changes a lot of times. And then, well, how I try to deal with that is that sometimes a lot of times I can't uh like at the time that was a bit more like good to capture the light again to finish with
Almost.
light because we need like lots of time to make the base like just just general colors and to actually make this capture the light how I want it to be there. Then I count again and see like when the light is red. But yeah, sometimes there still won't be like it's a perfect light, so it's just like I try to capture it how I could um and yeah, I could capture some atmosphere. Maybe sometimes there's clouds or something, and of course if there is really flowers, it's always nice.
That's so interesting to me what you're mentioning about light, because I would have thought, again, from the outside, has no idea what I'm talking about. But say, I'm like right now, I'm looking at this building here behind you. It's like whatever decent light conditions. So I do whatever I can, 2, 3 hours. Next day I come back. Now it's cloudy. I would have thought that a person would be able to, in their minds, fill in the plans and just continue to paint. Just imagine how it was the day before and continue to paint. But it sounds like that's not how that works. Like you need to have the same lighting as you did when you started for him to have that, like, not like that homogeneous, good polished look. Is that right?
I can continue like that for like the most part of work just to feel like the most of it like base colors and the most of it and where like initially I remember the shades are for example on the right and stuff like that. I still can continue on even though like it changed the opposite way, but uh to actually capture like an impressionism, like to actually feel that I would need to come back and see it again.
Makes sense. That makes sense. Because if you wouldn't do that, I think you yourself will realize that this is not what I was trying to paint. Like this thing in front of me, I made this, but this is not what I wanted. And you would probably not feel, that satisfaction. Just on the towards the last segment here. Um, what are some of your goals that you're working towards? Do artists have goals? Do you have a, like, I want to make, I don't know, 100 paintings this year, or I want to learn something new? Just, I don't know, don't want to pollute your answer, but do you believe in goals? Do you have any goals when it comes to art?
There's like some short term goals, like you said, like to have exhibit, like so exhibit like this year like having Evanston, Evanston working space and gallery. They have like a gallery when you enter, and then they have also a lot of permanent work on host, but their gallery that you come to first, they chain rate once work, and I had the big exam at COVID year 2020, and where they couldn't do even company. And they also invited me to do exhibit with them this year, so I flatted major. Like I had a whole wall, and also there were another artist on another wall, so you still like a lot of the biggest there this time back in I was 16 because I had two really big paintings. And well, last time it was like 22 or something because they were smaller. All of them were smaller. Um,
So you know how with this thing, when you talk to somebody, say they like basketball, you'd ask them, who's your favorite past work then? Like, who is your, role model? And they probably say, like, whoever, Steph Curry, LeBron James, whatever. So in the world of artists, who are some of the most like famous present day, like that are alive and hopefully active artists that, that you can speak that maybe most artists would have that as a role model, or if not most artists, who is your role model in terms of like presently alive and active artists, or is that not something that you think about?
I just so many artists
Oh, there. Cool.
that I don't know when they can admire each of them for like a different reason. Somebody like style of being, um, and somebody because that's big, very huge paintings. But I want to do that because you cannot imagine like small ones. It's also not easy to do, but the big ones like that I cannot fit into my car. If just like how and they like
Yeah.
some painters do that, and somebody I might like for like technique or something.
When you look at a painting, say I, out of my imaginary bag, bring out a painting and put it in front of you, can you immediately tell in 10 seconds of looking at it whether it's like a master artist that painted it versus somebody, just like me, maybe?
Yes, well, even if it's that something that um, you would not know, for example, if it's has some techniques in there or not, but like, yeah, it's usually you can see if somebody would work into that, like there or not. Like even from the simplest like painting.
Just for you, in terms of your ability, do you think you are at the highest, excuse me, that you're at the highest level of expertise that you can be at as an artist? Or do you still think there's improvements that you can make when it comes to your own abilities with art?
Well, in art, it's always continuous learning. Even the artists were like already been doing it for many years. So you always can discover discover something more for yourself and while practicing, while even going maybe to some workshops. And maybe there's a lot of stuff you already know, but still you can discover something new.
Sense. I like that response actually. It makes a lot of sense. Last question before I let you go. I'm sure you must have seen stuff about, how AI now is generating art and you can have an AI be like, generate this bidding in the style of Monet and it will do that. So do you think there is a future in which artists can be or artists should feel worried about their jobs being taken away by AI? Or do you think that's not something that can happen?
Well, I think any mainly can take or technical jobs, so then creative arts because all of the even artwork they do is always based off for already artwork that's
Like that
exists.
exists. Yeah.
And if people don't create any new ones, then AI don't have anything to be based on.
Makes sense. And there's obviously also that element of, when somebody gives you a commission to paint their building, they want that human connection or that human touch to it. Like they would just otherwise go out and take a picture. Like
Yeah.
they don't need to involve another human to do that, but they still do because of that, that value or that connection that I think can only come from other humans. So yeah, I think we just live in really interesting times, and yeah, it's just going to be exciting to see how this whole stuff evolves because recently there's been lawsuits that, so far it's still, maybe you already know this, but say you uploaded something on Etsy, and because it's on the internet, now an AI can be trained on that,
Mhm.
although you never gave it permission to do that,
Yeah.
and this is happening, which is very unfortunate, at least according to me.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just a constantly changing landscape. Nobody really knows what's going on. So it does sound like you're not that concerned. You feel fairly confident in your abilities and talent to.
Well, so far, yeah, oil paintings, it's not a digital art, and it has this texture and like the emotions that artists put into it. But yeah, AI, they can sometimes create something that is like digital art, maybe pasty with from some painting, but it's still not the same.
Yeah. Says, well, thank you so much for taking the time to, sit with me here today. I just watched the entire, sunset at least. And it shouldn't close up that conversation. So if somebody speeds this up, it'll just be a time lapse of sitting and talking and laughing in the background of it was a great sunset. I'm so glad I sat here. But maybe behind me, you also saw a little bit of the sunsets now.
Sunsets actually on this side video. Oh, yes, that's I can't see because it's dark, but it's I see the thin sky.
Nice. Yeah, but yeah, again, thank you so much for taking the time today. It has been such a pleasure to ask me questions that honestly I've always had. I don't have any artist friends. You can probably imagine from the questions I asked you. But yeah, a lot of the stuff I asked you, I've always wondered like how we would like brush stroke all of that. So really appreciate your patience. I know some of those questions that are probably annoying. But yeah, thank you so much for taking the time.
Sure, no problem. I was happy to be here. Thank you.
That brings us to the end of episode 40 of the Ready Set Do podcast. I do want to share that we hit 1K on YouTube this past week, and I would like to thank every single guest, listener, or any person that has in any way been involved, not just with the making of this, but also has consumed even a single second of the content that Ready Set Do produces. I want to give a shout out to Deep Suchak, without whom none of this would be possible. If you would like to continue supporting me, the best way to do that is by subscribing on YouTube and leaving me up to a 5-star rating on Spotify or your favorite podcast app. Feel free to also check out other links in the description, such as buying me a coffee. I'm still on $0 there, which feels just wrong. So, one of these days, I'm sure that will change. Catch you all in the next one. New episodes every Wednesday.